Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Cracking the Digital Code. My name is Brian Cantrell, Divisional Vice President of Sales here with True Choice Financial Group. Very excited to have Mark Gaffney speaking. I always learn something new each and every time that I'm around him or at one of his webinars or one of his events. I'm always learning something new, so I'm very excited to hear what he has to say today. So I won't waste any more time. I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Mark.
Welcome to today's presentation with your host, Mr. Mark E. Gaffney. Mark is the founder of MEG, a boutique marketing, coaching, and consulting firm for the financial services industry. Mark's elite advisor client list reads like a who's who of financial advisory firms. Since 2002, he has coached, consulted, and trained thousands of financial professionals across the United States. His image and brand advertising agency approach to financial marketing has made him a prominent authority throughout the national advisor community. In his 25-plus year marketing career, Mark's list of credits include renowned national marketing strategist, executive producer of numerous television shows and radio programs across the U.S., keynote speaker, and the best-selling co-author of The Winning Way. Mark has worked with multi-billion-dollar corporations as well as startups and financial business entrepreneurs at all phases of development. His marketing strategies have generated billions in production for his financial clients. Please welcome your host and presenter, Mark E. Gaffney.
Hey, Brian, thanks so much for that introduction there. And gosh, man, we love the whole True Choice family. So thank you for having us on today. Hey, everybody, you're in the right place at the right time. Because if you're like most advisors out there, we had to make a gigantic change, a pivot, a hard left when the whole coronavirus thing came. Man, the bottom just dropped out. So what we're going to talk about today is cracking the digital code because it's not going away. For those of you, and maybe you were a little bit like me, we got dragged in, kicking and screaming into the digital world, but it's here to stay. So we're going to talk about adding this in as an arrow in your quiver moving forward. So today's table of contents, really simple. We're going to talk about, and by the way, this is number one. So if you haven't downloaded this sheet, if you just came in a little bit later, I'm going to ask you right now to take out a pad and pen because I'm going to give you a ton of information over the next 35, 40 minutes or so that you can bring back to your firm tomorrow or the next day, okay? So that you can implement these things. And I tell everyone I'm going to give you 10 golden nuggets that you can take back. And my guarantee to you is this, man, you can do so much business, but I guarantee you today you're going to have something to bring back to do $1 million more of annuity production than if you were not on this webinar today. All right, second, we're going to talk about how to get in front of thousands of new prospects. Then we're going to talk about if they sign up, they need to show up. We know that this is a big part of the inconsistency in the digital world right now, getting people to show up for the webinar. And then lastly, goodness, if I have not been on 100 advisor webinars, I've not been on one, there are some very big mistakes that are happening right now, and I want to help you avoid them. Get through the potholes or around the obstacles that are preventing the people on your webinar from saying yes. Okay. I always like to start out with this. If we have an opportunity to talk to each other, and Elle, would you come on for a minute, please? I'm going to introduce you to Elle Unger. She's really my right hand here with all of my digital marketing. Elle will be one of the faces that you have a chance to work with here. She's awesome. So would you do me a favor? Could you bring up on the right-hand side, please, that offer? Listen, I know everyone can't stick around for the whole thing. So I like to tell everyone, wherever you are, if you got to run, you got to do something, 15 minutes. That's what we're talking about right now. 15 minutes could be the difference between making 2020 a good year and making it a great year. It could be the difference between a failed year and an awesome year. So no cost, no obligation, no stress, no pressure. 15 minutes. Get your questions answered or find out what it is to work with us. Okay, thanks, Al. But what I always like to ask as my first question is, how did you get in the business? Why do you do what you do every day? So I like to talk about my why. You heard my voice over there from that professional VO guy. Man, that sounds awesome, doesn't it? So for me, when my feet hit the ground out of the bed in the morning, It's my family, man. It's my family, right? So that's my beautiful wife, Jennifer, my oldest daughter, Bella. She's the athlete in the family. Then my middle child, Allie. Oh, Marsha. My oldest son, Liam, and my little guy, Luke. Okay, this is 2 years old. My little guy, Luke's now 2. I have 2 teenage girls in my house. Yes, I do. I have 2 teenage girls in my house. So for my fellow parents out there who have teenagers, you know my heart goes out to you. Middle picture there right now, that's the whole gang. It's my mom, my dad, the aunts, uncles, cousins, all of us. And as I like to say, believe it or not, we all get along with each other. And then that's us nerding out in the third picture there of us at Disney World. Hey, we're so fortunate here in Tampa Bay to live 90 minutes away from the happiest place on earth. And talk about happy, here we are on Friday Eve, Thursday. So let's get happy with today's program. But as you all know, it's a weird world right now. It's very, very weird. Okay. And 8 weeks we were in quarantine here in Florida. Okay. 8 weeks, homeschooling, quarantine. Listen, this is what I looked like before I got my hair cut a week ago when the barbershops finally opened here in Tampa. I thought it was kind of a good look for me. You know, I kind of pulled it up. So I decided to keep the goat, all right, and get rid of the crazy mop. You'll also notice there that one of my children is missing. I'm wondering what happened here. All I'm going to say is I have 2 teenage daughters, and I'm leaving it at that. Hey, this next picture right here, it's my dad. He's with my 2-year-old son. And this brings me to my why number 2. As you know, in our industry, the end line consumer are seniors, pre-retirees and retirees. So for us, we are warrior servants here at MEG, and we know that what we do affects seniors in America. So as I like to say, all our clients are good people, man. If you got a good heart, we want to work with you to make sure that you in your marketplace are positioned as the expert to work with our seniors in our respective community. And then lastly, of course, what really lights my candle up, hey man, we're all small businesses trying to get through the coronavirus insanity. Some of our cities are a little more on fire than others. I'm not going to step on my soapbox today, but you'll notice in all these pictures here that I am with all of these wonderful clients, and I encourage you to take pictures with all of your clients and put them on your wall. Maybe a couple months back, right before coronavirus, we took place in a ceremony where one of my advisors started their wall of fame for their clients. I thought it was super smart, really a great way to honor those great people that we have as our clients. Okay. And I would be remiss not to tell you that in 2019, we had the great honor of working with 5 advisory firms that were over 100 million in total assets gathered. Yes, I'm going to say that again. 100 million total assets gathered. Oh boy. I remember 15 years ago when that very, very elite fraternity of 20 million, that milestone, if you could pass that, holy goodness, that was incredible. One of these firms actually busted 200 million. And as I like to say, I didn't do it. They did it. But I'll be damned if someone's going to tell me we didn't play a role in helping them get to this enormous elite production. And don't let these big numbers freak you out, okay? Because where we are in our journey is where we are in our journey. Whether you're sub 5 million, 50 million, or 200 million, it doesn't matter. Your idea of elite production is your idea of elite production. And let us help you get there. And that's what today's all about, making sure that this new thing, this whole digital world, which a lot of us came into kicking and screaming, we get it done. All right. So this hangs over. And for those of you who have been and seen me before, man, this was a game changer for me 6 years ago. I actually have it hanging in my home office, okay, over my desk, or I should say in front of my desk. And it was kind of a pivotal moment because I kind of thought I had to be everything to everybody. And that's not what we are, okay? For you right now in this crazy environment of what's happening in 2020 in the US, you are the leader people are looking for in your community for financial services and retirement planning. Position yourself, speak with authority, be that leader that people are looking for. It starts with our database, and I'm going to talk about in a moment, and then it goes out from there to our general community. This is what it meant for me 6 years ago. We wanted to be the definitive leader, the thought leader for independent advisors, data-driven best practices, Okay. We are the definitive source. There's nothing in the advisor marketing world that we haven't done. And we've helped so many advisors. So I'm so thrilled and honored to be here today. And by the way, I know there's lots of things that you can do with your time. So thank you for being here today. Okay, this is that time where I say if you haven't gotten your downloaded response sheet, grab a pad and pen, because I'm going to do a whole lot of information from here on out. And as I like to tell you, a lot of you already know me. I'm from New York. Hey, don't hold it against me. But I'm probably going to pick up my pace a little bit here for the things that I talk about, because I promised I would do it inside of 30 minutes. The last one I did was a little closer to 40 minutes. Okay, so stick with me. Lots of great information to come. Remember, 10 things I'm going to give you today. You're going to make the notes that you can take back to your office. Number one, and this is the biggest number one there is out there right now for the digital world. You must be able to turn your database into a digital lead machine. And I know I've got some of my clients on here. Hey guys, love my clients. We have helped them. We held their hands through the process of getting set up in the digital world. And so from here, I got my first poll that I'm going to talk about. You get a survey, and you get a survey, and you get a survey. Listen, the first survey I have for you today is, have you actually implemented a full digital marketing campaign? Let me explain myself. Did you put together the ads to go to your database that then compelled them to go to a webinar or appointment, and then you did some sort of meeting, and then you got a check in your hand because you did the entire virtual process from beginning to end? So let's bring up that poll right now if you have done this. And let's see, I've got right now 100%, but there's a little bit of delay in here, so I'll just give it a minute. The main piece of the puzzle is the following. In order for you to master your craft, it has to start with the database, okay? The database is going to be a lot more forgiving. And by the way, what is the cost of marketing to our database? Man, that's a big old goose egg. Yes, I need to have the platforms in place. Yes, I need to purchase Constant Contact, BombBomb, MailChimp, whatever you're going to use on a webinar platform. Okay, so I'm looking at right now, 81% have said no, 18% have said yes. Wonderful. So I think you're going to get a lot of great information about what I'm going to talk about now, because this is the main piece for me. So I'm going to do a case study on one of our clients. And this is a gentleman that's actually right here in Tampa Bay that we've had an opportunity to work with. And for our coronavirus protocol, which we've been doing the last 3 months, I'm really going to focus in 2 areas. And if you're one of my clients, you've heard me talk about this over and over. But right now, it's so important. Client retention and filling the pipe with new clients. All right. So for this particular client, what I want to talk about right now is that we took their entire database. And in talking to all of you, please make sure every lead you ever got is somewhere in your CRM, somewhere on an Excel spreadsheet, because I'm lead greedy, okay? We've invested a lot of time, energy, money in creating these leads. Sometimes they slip through the cracks. Hey, listen, it happens to the best of us, but they have to be somewhere. So this particular advisor was quite good at making sure that all of any lead they ever had was in their database. So this case study is about not just their clients, not just their prospects, but I mean the deadest, coldest leads you could possibly imagine were in the database as well. As well as their vendors and cousin Freddie and the janitor Pete. So it's all in there, okay? So we said, let's do it all. And I'm going to recommend that you do the same. Send out an invitation to all of them. So here's the data. He had 1,800 records in the database. Upon sending those out, we did one Constant Contact Evite, which I'll show you. Then we did a BombBomb.com Evite. I'll tell you more about that. 120 people registered for the event. 92 attended. Kind of unheard of, but I'm going to show you how we got such a high attendance rate, because typically from attendance, from RSVP to attendance, there's a 50% drop off, okay? 17 appointments, 12 were clients, 5 were prospects. He's already closed over $1 million of annuity production from his database. Again, the fees for that, zero, big old zero goose egg. All he had to do was buy the platforms to use to market to them. So we're happy to set up all of our clients doing that. I know I've got a couple clients on here today, and so it's easy to do. Let us help you with that. Okay, the next piece of this, we don't just tell you, you got to do this and you got to do that. What we do is, and for lack of a better term here, guys and gals, we hold your hand. We put together a punch list, a project management grid. So every little piece of the campaign that we need to do, we do it. And we have days that are associated with it. So in this case, you see 15 days out, then 1 week out, then 1 day out, then day of. We do everything that we can do to mitigate the risk, because there's always risk in marketing. We want to make sure that it goes flawless for you. Okay, here's the actual Constant Contact and BombBomb. And I want to point out a couple things here. I'm actually going to talk about it a little bit later. Look how beautiful this marketing is and how simple it is. I'm not going to put tons and tons of stuff in here. As I like to say, we don't need 10 pounds of you-know-what in a 5-pound bag. All of them have video teasers to invite, okay, to invite your folks out there, and keep it simple. Okay, we want everything to easily go through compliance. We want our database to understand that it's simple. I do believe that COVID messaging is still very relevant right now. Another thing that I'll ask you to do as well is, some of you have cameras. Listen, take a picture of the slide. Why not, right? I had someone months ago who actually sent me pictures of the slides that we were doing and said this is what he wanted to do. So I thought, well, geez, that's brilliant, right? Or do a screen grab of it if you know how to do a screen grab, because there's going to be a lot of things in here where it might be just a little too much to write it all down, but you can do a screen grab or a picture. All right. I want to play for you Joe's video. Now, before we do that, Al, we gave him the script that he would need for this. Yes, he put a couple of his own points in there. We also had he and his wife take pictures in their house of where they wanted to shoot it. So we found a good, well-lit area that made him look wonderful, okay, before we went ahead. There was nothing random about this. All right, Elle, if you'll play this video, please.
Hello everybody, Joe DiPaolo here. I'm sending you a personal virtual message just to let you know that we're thinking about you in these unprecedented times. I'm also calling to personally invite you to our upcoming webinar, where we're going to cover a lot of the topics that are presenting some concern for retirees and pre-retirees. We'll cover COVID and the new economy. We'll talk about the volatility in the stock market and what to expect moving forward, as well as taxes and the changes that have come with the new code. In addition to that, we'll cover a lot of additional information and open up for questions at the end of the webinar. The whole purpose for doing this, folks, is just to make sure that you understand that we're thinking of you, that we're providing you good, relevant information, and hopefully provide some peace of mind during these time periods. If you haven't already done so, I highly encourage you to register by clicking the button right below this video. It's a very simple process. In just a couple minutes, you'll be registered, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at our virtual webinar on April 30th. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and God bless. Bye-bye.
Man, that was great. Totally intimate. You know what? A little bit of tongue twist here and there. That looks natural and normal. I'm not looking for perfection here. And as I always like to say, don't let perfection get in the way of greatness. This worked so well. And you know what he shot it on? A new iPhone. Okay, that's all you need. We don't need to buy any expensive equipment, lights, tripods, none of that. Okay, 4K video, great sound. And by the way, when you do these videos, you shoot them this way, not this way, this way. Okay. So wonderful. Anybody can do this. And that's the thing that I really like to point out to everyone. Hey, listen, anybody can do this. You can do this. The toughest part is to get started, man, and just get started. Okay. Let us help you with that. Okay. So number 2 here is, how do we get in front of thousands of new prospects? Before I go forward, I want to say this. Let's master our craft with our database, okay? Let's do a couple webinars in there. Let's send out a couple of constant contacts and BombBombs to gather appointments, non-webinar, just for appointments. And once we get the feel of that, okay, now I can spend thousands of dollars in the marketplace through the various digital forms to create new prospect to client. So I've got another one here. I have a very specific set of skills and I will find you. Hey, listen, here's poll number 2. Have you done a digital marketing campaign so far to the general public? And we'll bring that up right now and give you guys a minute on that. If you're like so many right now, and one of the things that I'm going to talk about is that Facebook is a very easy way to get started. Very low price point to get involved, and also rather easy to set up. Static ads, we have some analytics in the back. We drive it to a landing page, drive it to a webinar, drive it to appointments. But I'm going to tell you, it's more than just about Facebook. But it seems as though that everyone has come out of the woodwork. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry living in mom's basement is now a pro in Facebook. So just be careful out there, okay? There are certain companies that are vastly better than other companies. So you're going to want to go to Brian Cantrell on that, because over at True Choice, I know that they're using so many different companies right now. And I've actually spoken to Jeff Danner recently, and he has some great data that he's compiled as to who you might want to use. And I know that True Choice as well has some great arrangements with various providers so that you get a wonderful price point to get started. So looks like we have 67% have said no, they haven't not done a general public campaign yet. 32% have. So basically 2/3 of you haven't done anything yet. This is wonderful. Let me share this data with you right now. Okay, number 1, there are 3 social media platforms that we can take advantage of to get new clients. I'm going to take LinkedIn first, and I have an asterisk next to that for a reason. If you are an advisory firm that likes to work with business owners, this is going to be the route to take, okay? Really, this is a B2B site, business to business, rather than B2C, business to consumer. So there are great ways to get your message out on LinkedIn, okay, if you're looking for business to business. Otherwise, let's talk right now about Facebook and YouTube. So this is from, and I'm sure you've heard of this company before, Pew Research Center, very big research company for data and analytics. And I've highlighted the areas on here that I want to talk about, because it's really important to point out that Facebook is not the only game in town. There are other games in town, and that other game is YouTube. Now, YouTube requires more heavy lifting in the front to get these started, because it's all video based. You're not going to use static ads here. So if you're willing to do that, and again, I told you, you don't need all this expensive equipment, but you do need some scripting. You do need the one big idea. You do need to have a sense of urgency, right? So all those things we help you put together, and you can start a YouTube campaign. So let's look at the data here. Ages 50 to 64, 70% as opposed to 68%, YouTube to Facebook. As we get over 65, it falls a little bit. Facebook is more powerful there. Now, household income, 75K plus. I wish they had some higher ones, but they don't. So we'll just take that as the high end rung on the ladder. More people using YouTube than Facebook. And lastly, those with College Plus, more of them on YouTube than Facebook as well. So what can I take away from this? What I will take away from this is you need to investigate YouTube. And listen, I've worked with a lot of companies right now. YouTube is kind of what Facebook was 5 years ago for getting people to webinars and for appointments. There's not a lot of folks competing in there. It is a blue ocean strategy as opposed to a red ocean strategy. So I'm not going to be able to give full solutions today, but I do want to talk about methodology. So one of the methods is going to be YouTube. Okay, you are here today because of an email now, aren't you? Yes, you are. So don't forget, email's a great way to go about this. And those companies that have done your targeted direct mail for years, they all have great email campaigns to go along with your targeted direct mail or stand alone. I don't recommend going out and finding a list, okay? It's like Mercedes-Benz to the worst possible car you could possibly find. Don't buy the worst possible car you could possibly find. Talk to these big companies. They're going to be able to help you with that so that you can get a great email list and put together a smart campaign to go out to that. So let's look at the industry data here for a moment. Click rate, open rate. So for business and finance as a whole, 1 out of 5 folks are opening up the emails. That is absolutely incredible, okay? And that's from MailChimp. From Constant Contact, you'll notice that for financial advisors, it's about 15%. I can make a ton of money at a 15% open. Don't rule out email as part of your overall digital marketing strategy. Okay, now the next piece here is digital banner ads. We create these for our clients. This is the same client I was talking about earlier, Joe DiPaolo. So I put a couple of, and you might want to take a picture of this because I'm not going to spend a lot of time here, but I do want to talk about the main point that we're doing for this particular client. We work with a very large digital marketing firm that allows us to get them street address, and they match it up with IP address. So I can put digital banner ads any house I want to put them in. For the most part, it's not 100%. It's probably more around 70%. So if I give them 10,000 street addresses, I can get into 7,000 of those homes with these banner ads. And do they need to be looking up retirement services? Do they need to be looking up finances? No, they can be looking up anything. They could be on Facebook. They could be looking up tires. They could be at Macy's. They could be looking up clothing. It doesn't matter. I can put those banner ads into those homes if those sites allow for banner advertising. Okay, next. Targeted direct mail. I'm just going to pause for a minute, get a drink here. Targeted direct mail, listen to me and write this down. It is the only way to get into every house we want to get into. It's the only way. Nothing else is going to get me into every single home I want to get into. And I have up here targeted direct mail that we're doing with clients right now, okay? And as I like to say, Operation Mailbox Domination. I can go to Nielsen and get all my TV stuff. Actually, I can go to Nielsen as well to get all of my radio data to put together really smart campaigns. But what do seniors do once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 1 to 7 times a week, every week? The mailbox. I never, ever miss them in the mailbox. Now, if I put something in there, smart, a little different shape, different color, right? I win. I'll always get them in the mailbox. So don't forget about the opportunity to market yourself digitally through an analog method of targeted direct mail. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see we've got a hybrid invitation that's bringing people to both a webinar and also trying to bring them to a 15-minute phone consult, okay? So these are the 2 ways that we can bring people in. Don't just do the webinar, allow them multiple ways. Because listen, some people are still a little freaked out about going to public places in that age category. So, and then the last piece of the puzzle here is making sure that we offer the 3 ways that they can meet us, okay? So those 3 ways are an in-office visit, a virtual meeting, or a phone consultation. Those are the 3 ways they can meet us. Listen, targeted direct mail right now is bringing people to webinars. Targeted direct mail right now is doing a great job at setting up appointments. So if I just wanted to do an appointment mailer right now, this is a perfect time to do it. And as I like to say, it's called targeted direct mail for a reason. Okay, next I'm going to talk about website. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I always like to talk about the miracle that takes place in your industry. The average American will work 90,000 hours in their lifetime to accumulate the nest egg that they're going to use in retirement. And you know what they do? Here's the miracle part. They give it to you. They give it to you. Now listen, through all this COVID madness, everyone's going to do their due diligence prior to coming into the office, but they can't come into the office, so they're doing a virtual meeting. They want to know a little bit more about you ahead of time. So please make sure that you have a website that says, we are the best thing since sliced bread. If you don't, You're never, ever going to be able to track this, by the way, of people that went to your website that decided not to come to your webinar, not to come to your seminar, not to come to your office appointment, phone appointment, or virtual meeting because they saw you on your website and said, that outfit looks rinky-dink. They do not look professional. Okay. So I have one of the great advisors up here from True Choice, in particular, Game Plan True Choice. It's Steve Burton from Equity One. Man, that dude is the man. And we had the great privilege of redoing his website. But you'll see here above the fold, I can interact right away digitally to book an appointment or attend an event. All right, lastly, here I want to talk about TV. Now, I know that the price points on TV are a little larger, but for some of our clients right now, the dollars that they're not investing with targeted direct mail from all of their some folks are doing a lot of live events. They're not now. So we can possibly use television to bring people to our webinars. And we've been doing this long before COVID-19. So I'm going to show you a TV campaign right now that we did with one of our advisors. Elle, will you put that on, please?
It's only happening one time, and it's limited to just 100 people. Hi, I'm Sandy Morris, and I'm talking about our Tax Freedom Summit, live via webinar on Wednesday, January the 23rd. This free 30-minute webinar will reveal little-known strategies that could help you save thousands of dollars in taxes, including how to avoid or minimize taxes on your Social Security benefits, a loophole with the Trump tax plan that could be a financial windfall, plus how you can save a small fortune in taxes with your IRA and your 401k. Learn how you could save thousands of dollars in taxes in this free live webinar on January 23rd. Space is limited to just 100 people, so call 813-519-3313. That's 813-519-3313. And remember, you only retire once, so let's get this right the first time.
All right, so Sandy didn't just get 100. She got close to 400 people that responded and just sub 200 that attended. I know it turned out to be a very profitable campaign for them. So those are the different ways that, digitally speaking, we can get in front of thousands and thousands of clients. Now, it isn't just one. With our clients, based on their budget, based on their goals, based on how they run their business, the model of their business. Sometimes it's a combination of 1, 2, 3, 4 of these items, depending on what you're looking to put together. Once again, we're a boutique firm. If it's in the world of financial advisor marketing, we do it. We make it happen. So I hope we have an opportunity to do that with you. Okay. Number 3, how to ensure that your prospects show up for your webinar. Oh yes, just when you thought the memes were over, we have another one. And brace yourself, I have one more after this. So our next poll, if you wouldn't mind taking that with us, have you experienced heavy fall off from your registration to attending your seminar? This is probably the biggest problem that big companies are trying to solve right now. And let me explain that. One of our strategic partners, very, very large digital marketing company, decided, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this. How can we find out what's happening? Why are we having 50% fall off from signing up digitally to attending the webinar? Where in the targeted direct mail world, the nationwide average is 20%. So obviously, there's some sort of issue with reciprocity here. They don't feel the accountability to show up. So the vast majority of calls went like this. Hi, we noticed that you signed up for an event, but you didn't attend. Was there something about it? What happened? Are you ready for this? The majority of answers were, I did what? I signed up for something? What was it? What did I sign up for? Key, absolutely key. So here's a couple things that we can do to correct that. So you want to write this down. Don't start your digital marketing too far in advance of your dates. 5 business days, 6, 7 business days in front of your events. That's it. Anything past that and life will get in the way for your prospects to show up for your webinar. Okay, so have you experienced heavy fall off? 76% say yes, 23% say no. So we know that this is a problem. For those that say no, hey man, that's great. You're doing all the things that I'm going to talk about, in theory, the right way. So let me get into that right now. And by the way, I know that I just passed the 30-minute mark. So Elle, if you'll do me a favor in the offers, you put up the let's talk. Thank you very much. If you have to go, I know I'm going past 30 minutes. I apologize for that. I usually like to keep it around 35, but I'm probably going to go closer to 40 here. So go ahead. And once again, no cost, no obligation, no stress, no pressure. Okay, let's talk. You might have the smallest question, and that's going to allow you to tie some points together to help you out. Or you might be asking, how can I work with your company? Whatever it is, wonderful. All right, so getting back to the ways that we get people to show up for our webinar. Number one, and I've analyzed so many of these now, and I've sat through so many webinars, and I'd like to break down the process from the time that the marketing goes out to the time they show up, to the time they get to the call or the visit, okay, to the time that you have check in hand. Where are the weak links? Where are the bottlenecks? What's going wrong? Number one, write this down. You must lower the barrier of entry. Let me explain that. The other day, I signed up for a webinar, and I signed up for all of them. Anyone who emails me, all of them, every industry person, I look into it. The best ones have just your first name and your email. The best ones. I've gone on some, they've asked me my first name, my last name, the name of my company, what's my address, what's my phone number, what's your firstborn's name, right? It's too much stuff. You're scaring people away. We must play the volume game. We must cast the largest nets that we can and bring as many fish on board, okay? Make the barrier of entry low. The other thing with barrier of entry, if I'm going to give away a free gift, a lot of these have a $50 gift card or a $25 gift card or some sort of premium or giveaway. If you put in there that you must sign up for an appointment and bring all your documents or you don't get the card, scared away. Think about this. Imagine if you had your seminar invitation and it went out and said, well, you won't be able to eat dinner that night unless you sign up for an appointment. How many people would show up for your seminar? I'll give you an answer. 0. Don't close the barrier of entry. Don't do that. There's a little bit of this is the cost of doing business. There's a little bit of lost leader in here, okay? Know that. Get as many people in as you can. Get as many at-bats as you can. Next, man, we got to keep it simple. Too many times I see 10 pounds of you-know-what in a 5-pound bag, and everything gets confused. We don't want to do that. If you confuse, you lose. Next, I got to have a video. 1 minute, 10 seconds, no more than that. Video teaser inviting those people to come in. You saw the one from Joe DiPaolo there. It was nice. It was intimate. It was real. It was genuine. Okay. It wasn't contrived. It was right on target. So we help you create that video to compel people to come see you. I've talked about having a professional website. Here's another one. You want to write this down. You must touch your prospects several times between the time that they register and at the time they attend the webinar. Now, you're looking at Webinar Jam right now. That is our preferred platform for webinars. There are really two big ones out there right now, either Webinar Jam or Big Marker. We use Webinar Jam and its sister platform called EverWebinar for all of ours. So we've really become experts there. We love it. And what this platform allows me to do is when you sign up, you get notified 3 times. Once you get a thank you afterwards, then you get another notification and you get a notification the day of. So you can take that one step further. That's worked for us, those 3, because we don't start advertising the events really till 5-6 days. We're keeping it really tight so people remember that they need to come. So it's got 3 reminders there in 6 days. But there's no harm in doing more reminders for that, okay? We're developing a system right now. I look forward to telling all the good folks at True Choice about that. Offering a free giveaway. Hey, listen, we need to do whatever we got to do right now to get people to our webinars and get people to our appointments. Then a smart landing page. Webinar Jam does it for us. They have a beautiful landing page. And then lastly, all of our PR and celebrity. You may have written a book, right? You may have appeared on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. You may have done an article for Forbes magazine. You may have appeared on your local TV. All of that needs to be in there. Why? You have to position yourself as the go-to expert in your marketplace. You have invested a lot of time, energy, money for all of this PR. Make sure that it's in there as well. Okay. Make sure you're writing your questions down because I am going to do the town hall forum coming up here shortly. Lastly, how do we get our prospects to say yes? And I do have one more poll for us to take. And this one's really simple, guys. All right. And it's just this. Do you want to convert more appointments from your digital marketing? Always do I see this. 100% yes. I'm going to dive in right now. Top ways to get your prospects to say yes to an appointment. First and foremost, and you got to write this down, I must master the platform. If I'm going to be like, blah, 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 and start tapping buttons everywhere and say, oh, sorry about that, guys. I've seen a lot of that. Make sure that you master the platform. With our clients, man, we've held their hand through all of it, taught them how to do it, did dry runs with them. We did a dry run before this, and we've done this webinar several times because we want to make sure that we don't have issues. I got to knock on wood because I probably jinxed myself right now. You must master your platform and your presentation. I don't use any notes. There are no notes around me. So I'm not looking off to the side and then looking over here and then down there and over here being super distracting. I know my material. You need to know your material. Okay. Use a combination of video and slides because if I presented this way to all of you, it doesn't nearly have as much impact, okay, as when I'm in this itself. And I've seen it both ways. With some people, it's just the video and they have no slides. Listen, this is how people learn. Some are more visual, some are more audible, but most of us are visual and audible. And language is 7% words and 93% tone and body language. Write this down. See this little box right here? It dumbs us all down. It dulls us down. I will give you TV coaching, okay, so that you know how to use this box. 1 ounce of enthusiasm goes a long way. Another 2 ounces of confidence on top of that goes a long way. You must talk to people like you are the definitive authority on the topic. When you're the financial advisor, whether you're in front of the room as a live event or a webinar, nobody in that room knows more than you do, and they are looking to you for guidance. They are looking to you to be the leader in that room. Speak to them with authority, and they will become yours. I don't have a lot of time right now. I've gone a little bit long, so please take a picture of this slide. I do want to cover a couple of other points in here. So once again, I want to talk about 15 minutes only, guys. Best practice dictates that our meetings are 15 minutes that we talk about. If you tell someone to sign up for an hour phone call or an hour Zoom meeting or an hour in the office, not the time. This is not the format. Wonderful in there when you're in your live venue and the steak and chicken is coming out. That's fine. Here, it's 15 minutes. Nobody wants to talk to you on the phone for an hour. Nobody wants to do a Zoom meeting for 1 hour. And listen, when you do this, this is the time in your presentation where you change the tone of your voice, okay? And here's what we do. We tell people that it is no cost, no obligation. And Elle, would you do me a favor and bring up the Let's Talk? No cost, no obligation, no stress, no pressure, 15 minutes. You will get lots of people to sign up. And by the way, here's your goal. 30% of the room to sign up for some sort of appointment after the fact. I'm going to give you the last piece of this, and then I'm going to move to Q&A. It's this one right here, folks. If you're not using if you're not using technology right now to get people to digitally sign up for something on your calendar, in this case, we use Calendly, you're making a huge mistake. When we first started doing these a while back, we would have people set up their appointment and then we had to chase them down, right? And I'll tell you, even the best of you out there, if you have a campaign where you got 80% of the people that requested signed up, you did a heck of a job. No more. 100% of the people that you want must sign up and go directly into your calendar. And it's super easy. And there's a higher reciprocity of showing up because they bought it themselves. You didn't tell them what was available. You showed them what was available, and they selected it themselves. Okay, I'm going to move on from this. So these are the 4 areas that we covered. I hope that you got your 10, certainly 5 areas or initiatives or ideas that you can kind of start tying those dots together in your firm to create so much more production in the digital world. And what I want to do right now is tell you, who do we work best with? And goodness, we've worked with so many great people at True Choice. Brian, man, we love your pod. We love the folks over there. We're so appreciative for this opportunity today to talk to more wonderful people. But number one, you must be coachable, okay? We are, as a non-FMO marketing agency, we are an independent marketing agency. No independent marketing agency has worked with more $20 million clients than we have. None. Okay, and why is that important? Because we have collected so much data-driven best practices from these $20 million producing advisory firms to share with you. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's already been invented, baby, and hundreds of other advisors have already failed at it and made it successful. Be coachable. And as I like to say, when you have a coach, you're essentially bringing a speedboat to a swim meet. Yes, you will get to the pool, the end of the pool at some point, but the speedboat helps you get there faster. Next, you must understand that it is an investment, meaning marketing, not an expense, right? The investment, by virtue of what it is, dictates that we must get more money back than what we put into it. You must be getting back at least 3 times, or in other words, $3 for every dollar invested. If you're not doing that, something's wrong with your marketing. Our number 1 client last year got $7.17 for every dollar they invested. Wouldn't you love to pull that slot machine in Vegas, put $1 in and $7.17, keep coming back? Next, you got to be able to close. We'll get you more at bats than you can shake a stick at, but if you can't close, then it doesn't matter. So for our clients that are having issues with closing, we can help you. However, let me make this clear. We are not licensed financial advisors here. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, but I will tell you the fundamentals of great sales hold true in whatever industry you're in. So we can help you with that, but we are not licensed financial advisors. You must be able to close. And then lastly, we prefer that you be in growth mode, because if you ain't growing, then you're dying, right? So we put together very aggressive goals for our clients, and we put together a written marketing plan to help you get to those goals. Okay, guys, there's 4 ways to connect. And before I say this, I want to just tell you from the bottom of my heart, I know there's lots of things you can do with your time. I am so grateful. I am so honored that you're with us today. You took time out of your crazy busy day to be with us, to get some great information to take back to your firm. Thank you so much for that. 4 ways that we can get together. And by the way, you see that graphic there? Let's spread the love, baby, not the germs. Spread the love, not the germs. Okay, you can hit the Let's Talk, get into our Calendly. You can submit a question. You can connect with us on Facebook or LinkedIn. Every week we put great information out there. So I hope that we have the opportunity to say, and I always wrap up with this, I hope we have the opportunity to say sooner than later to you, welcome to our client family, because that's what it is. All right, I'm ready to take some questions right now. Thank you for being so patient. I did go a little bit long. I went 48 minutes rather than 30 to 35, but I sincerely hope you got at least 10 things that you can take back to your office. So with that, Elle, will you please bring up the chat function? Okay. And that if you want to start, I can do this to the top of the hour. So I've got roughly 11 minutes, 10 minutes or so that I can take your questions and answer them. I will do my best to do a robust answer. Brian Cantrell, if you want to pop in with some questions as well, you can just turn your mic on. Maybe some folks have sent some questions to you, or maybe you have some questions. I'm happy to take those. And again, Brian, thank you for the opportunity to meet with your people. Okay, so here we go. Jake, Does someone have to be a client to get MEG's help with digital marketing or projects? So this is kind of a yes and a no. For the digital marketing world itself, you do need to be a client because we spend a lot of time and energy in putting these together. We're not a digital marketing company where that's all that we do and all we're concerned about is the transaction. No, because chances are if you're a client, the digital marketing piece is exactly that. It is a piece of your overall marketing strategy. For example, there could be radio in there could be television, there could be a referral program, there could be all these other things. Now, do we do some one-off projects? Of course. Websites, TV shows, radio programs, those are one-off projects, so we do those. James, come on. What's the other 5 items? The other 5 items, I don't know what you would, the 10 golden nuggets were from those 4 bullets. So James, I hope you got 10 golden nuggets from those other 5 items. Okay, Michelle, what equipment do I need to go virtual with webinars? So I will tell you the equipment I have in front of me right now, super simple. I have a brand new Microsoft Surface, and the camera on it is magnificent, and the microphone in it is fantastic. I've had 0 issues. So that's all the equipment that I use, okay, for doing webinars, Zoom meetings, Skype, you name it. I do it all from here. Melissa, I sent requests via LinkedIn. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you, Melissa. Hey, that's wonderful. We look forward to talking to you too. Diane, how quickly can we get on TV? All right, great question. For me, TV is the maverick medium. It's new, okay, like radio was 10, 12 years ago. And I usually like to say it takes 8 weeks, okay? We have to do, and I won't get into all the pieces because I see the questions coming up right now, but it's usually 8 weeks from the time that you say you want to do it to the time that you're on. And the main pieces are the media buy, making sure that we have the inventory that you want, 30 second, 60 second, longer, shorter. Okay, then we start putting together our campaign with messaging and the like, and then we need to do production. So usually about, it's usually about 8 weeks when push comes to shove. Okay, my next one here, James, explain how you teach clients how to understand the analytics. Okay, so there are so many different analytics out there. Usually we base it around the goal that we're trying to accomplish. And those analytics are based on national averages. So we want to make sure that we are inside national averages with our metrics and our analytics. James, I love it, James. You got lots of questions, baby. This is awesome. Keep those questions coming in. Why Webinar Jam versus Big Marker? So I wish I could talk more fully on that. I will tell you this. We opted to use Webinar Jam a long time ago. I belong to a lot of advisor groups. We have a lot of large strategic partnerships. And in those groups, we made the decision collectively trying multiple platforms that for us, Webinar Jam was the way to go. But I keep hearing about Big Marker. So part of my role is what I hear, I see with others, I share. I've not used Big Marker. I'm not terribly familiar with it. But what I have heard about it, James, is good things. So if that is something that you want to look up, wonderful. Okay, Rowan, just sharing. I have had to reload this page a lot of times. Something happens to the audio, starts repeating itself, and I lose you. Is this a Webinar Jam issue? Rowan, that's a good question. If someone else wants to tell me, do they have any sort of tech issue today? Because tech issues will pop up from time to time. Stephen Smith, what is Webinar Jam Big Marker? Those are webinar platforms that we can use. And the reason I like those is that as opposed to maybe something like Zoom, which is a lot better in sort of the one-to-one or small team format, if I want to have 50, 100, 500 people on to do what is essentially a presentation to acquire a prospect, a sales presentation, those two have been what I liked or what I hear the most about. And I personally use Webinar Jam for a long time now. Ron, thanks for getting on there. No tech issues. Dennis, no tech issues. Thank you for that. Stephen, no tech issues for you as well. Hey, man, I appreciate that so much. Like GoToWebinar, everyone has their own preference, okay? And that's fine. Let me tell you a little something right now, though. When you get these companies to do their digital marketing, I'm going to ask you to ask them, to do their digital marketing to your webinar platform of choice. I don't want to have to relearn someone else's webinar platform because the big 4, 5, or 6 digital marketing companies say you have to use a particular platform. I don't particularly care for that. I have become masterful in my own, and that's what I want to use. Okay, Dan, I've not had any problem seeing or hearing the presentation. Dan, thank you so much for that. All right, keep those questions coming. I know there was something about a book in here, and I'm going to scroll back. Just give me a second. Do you help with book publishing so that advisors can have a downloadable PDF as a giveaway? Yes, in fact, that's what we're going to be doing. So for anyone who signs up today, they're going to get the ebook version of this that will be sent to you. It is a downloadable item. In fact, that is really the best way to go about this, rather than sending out either a hardcover or soft cover. If somebody wants that in the future, oh, well, by all means, we'll send it to them. That is a buying sign in my book. No pun intended there. Okay. I'll give it another minute here, but I will tell you, in all of the webinars I've done this week, this has been the best group for questions. So it looks like we're kind of wrapping up. And I'm getting close to the hour, so I want to be respectful of that. Hey, listen, everyone, thank you so much. If you want more information, Brian Cantrell is the guy to reach out to, okay? I work with Brian extensively. He is the bomb diggity. I'll tell you, there are few people in the industry that even remotely touch how good he is. So it's a pleasure on our part to work with him. Oh, I got another question here. What do you think about direct mail as people are returning to work and businesses are opening? I am so glad you asked that question. So we'll get off the digital world for a moment. Things are getting out there right now. Things are getting out there. Targeted direct mail is back on the street, baby, and people are RSVPing. I'll tell you what, in my next webinar, which I'm doing in July, which I will get out to Brian to send out, I'm calling it Time to Be a Rock Star Again. That's the general gist of it, right? And that is, we're going to return all the great things that we were doing. And I'm going to talk about how to do targeted direct mail now in this crazy world. So yes, depending on the state that you're in, like I have a client in Nebraska, it never was an epidemic, a pandemic. It was a blip. Okay. So restaurants are open. People are going back out. And depending on what state you're in, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, we have great best practices right now to get people out. Stephen Smith, thank you. No, Stephen Smith, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Doug, great webinar. As a novice, I'm confident that with your help, I can make this work. I got to tell you, man, I love this group, Brian Cantrell. Friendly, super, man. I'm so glad I was able to get this information out. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Actually, I'll wait another minute. We've had such great questions here. So I got a little bit water left in here. It's Friday Eve. I'm hanging out for a little bit. All right, I think that's the end of our questions here. Moses, thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Brian, on behalf of all of us here at MEG, we want to thank you and the True Choice family for having us out. For so many years now, it's been such a wonderful partnership. I look forward to working with you and all of your folks as I have done for such a long time. Don't forget to reach out to Brian Cantrell. Guys, thanks so much. Make it a great day and big, big success to you. Stay safe, all right? You take care now. Thanks so much.